You never lost an Ulster final as a footballer, a senior footballer for Monaghan, did you?
Not for Monaghan. We did in the club in 1975. We played in against St Joseph's. We're after beating Crossmaglen, and Crossmaglen had a fantastic team: Joe Kieran, Larry Kieran, Tony McKenna. There were household names in that area, and then we beat them in Castleblayney and played St John's, who had a fantastic team. We were controlling Ulster at the time, and we beat them in the semi-final. And St Joseph were a good team, and they'd 5 or 6 inter-county players, but they'd 4 or 5 provincial players. And I maintain they weren't as good as us, but they beat us on the day, and that's what accounts for the result. And that was the only one we played. I played in the 6 finals, won 5. We played 3 with the club, won 2, and played in 3 finals with Monaghan and won the 3.
And would it be fair to say? No, sorry, go ahead.
No, it was nice.
Yeah, would the club ones stand out even more than the county ones?
The 79, of course, the club ones stand out because you're born and bred in the club, and it's where you start off. When you think back about the coaches that was given, and we run out onto the field. If I wasn't in the Castleblayney field for 7 o'clock, you mightn't get a game because the field would be full. You'd be put off because the seniors started at 7:30, and the 7:30 games went on to maybe 9:30. And the great thing about the games at that stage was really alive. You turned to be just mad to play a county team or a club team after it, because the hitting was so physical in it. But when you look at it, the club is where you start with and you end up in when you finish your county. The county was great to win it after 41 years, and it was fantastic. But the Ulster club, when we won in '86, we played the All-Ireland champions, Burren in the final. In a real winter, it was around the 1st of December or the 3rd of December, we played them in the athletic grounds. And the score at half-time was 3-1. And the score at full-time was 4-3. And it was an exciting game. And the great Ian McGinney, he was well used to taking scores. I was centre-half back. I was marking Shorty, a trainer, a brilliant footballer. And Paddy Rourke, they'd get the ball would be kicked out, and they'd give the ball to me, and I'd be attacking from centre-half back. And Paddy Rourke took me down about 35 yards out from goals, right into the teeth of the wind, and Eamon put the ball over as 3-all, 4-3. And we still had 8 minutes to go before the game, and they were playing with a strong wind, and it was hell for leather. Now, I mean, the physical hits were thankful because the referee didn't blow the whistle that often. And but the hits, it was honest football, and it was exciting, and the crowds was at it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Look,
if I can jump on to the Ulster final that you won in 1979, and you said the 41-year gap. I saw an interview you did, possibly in the Irish News, and you were saying driving down to Clonus that day, 2 to a card, was no bus. It just sounds like such a different world when you think about all the teams decked out in their tracksuits and their big, the analysis teams on the chartered bus, the whole lot.
It is now. I think they're overdoing it now. I think the background teams have become nearly too big. If there wasn't the financial status there or the media hype behind them, I wonder would they have the same background? Would they go to as much? In our time, we had analysed every opposition before we got there. We had when I was involved in other sport, I was able to say I was marking Seamie Granahan, great right foot. He always wanted, when he got near you, he'd try and switch to the left foot. We had all this analysed before, a way back, and when we go down at that time, it was unbelievable. You went with the players you normally went with, and because we all got on well together. And when McKeag had us, we were after losing the 78 when he took over, because it used to be a 5-selector team, and he brought it into 1978, one selector, and he would pick us, one manager, and he would pick a selector. So he ended up picking the selectors. We lost in 78, but 79 was a fantastic year, and it was absolutely unreal to see the emotions of people after 41 years running onto the field and grabbing them. It was a game that I performed well in, and I remember it well. Actually, a great championship that year against Down. The tactics were Monaghan, because we beat them. Monaghan escaped from Mongolia, because the tactics that was the tactics, that was the headlines of the Irish press, the Monaghan team escaped from Mongolia with their tactics. They thought we were butchering people. They'd written it was legs broke left, right, and centre. It was a tough game, but there was no legs broke. A few boys dinged, but that was it. And so as one boy described what he called me dinged. Well, he was hit hard, and it was that we got to the semi-final then against Armagh, then the final against Donegal. And it was interesting when we lost the first final against Donegal, and a minute later we won the real final because the referee threw the ball in. Seamus Bonner had the ball put over the bar, but the national anthem hadn't been playing. The brass band was still in the field, and he had to restart the game, and Monaghan went on to win from that. So it's fantastic, it's something to remember. But when you look at it, 41 years, and the euphoria throughout the county, the celebration we did for it was unbelievable. But we had a fantastic time.
Yeah, you played every position on the field, more or less, I heard you saying in an interview. Could we jump forward to 1984 when you played that centenary final against Meath? It was 10 points to 8 to Meath.
Yes.
Was the Centenary Cup a big deal back then? Because, when you think of it now, anyone who's, my age or younger, they wouldn't have probably known about it until maybe the last 10 or 15 years, even heard about it. Was it a huge thing at the time, the fact that it was an open draw?
It was the fact that they were always debating the open draw because Kerry had only played the one match against Cork, and they were able to sit back. And it was a nursery for them. They weren't playing the same games. The open draw through everything, that's where they're hoping to get the big ones. We ended up drawing with Mayo the first game away, and everyone was in great form. This we were talking, we lived down at the area, just say we get to know people before it. And we could have a few drinks that time. There was no problem. But Sean McCaig would know that we'd mean business when training started. But we were short players when we went down because some of the team thought that, look, we'll go down to Mayo. I'm not going to waste my day going down to Mayo. We're going to get hammered. And 4 players never turned up. And we were left with the minimum team. And we won. I remember I don't score that many goals, but I was passed a good ball and I stuck the ball in the net, and we won. We actually ended up winning that game. And our next game was against Limerick in Carrickmacross. And Limerick, the whole pre was because it was run off very quick, the matches. And what happened was there was a bit of bad feeling in the club within the team because players didn't turn up for the last match, so they were left in the line for the Limerick match, and Limerick put it up to us, and we struggled. The physical size, and we struggled to get them. But we come to terms in a bit, maybe less than 15 minutes to go, and we shaded it, and then we went for the 3 runs in a row to Croke Park, starting off with Offaly, and then Derry, and Derry went to extra time. I scored the equaliser to put them into extra time. And then Ray McCann really took over, lit the lights out that day. And then we got to the final against Meath. And what a final. And I ended up losing it. I would say controversially, but 4 minutes to go, there was 2 points in it. And Liam Harner happened to run into Jerry McEntee. And Jerry was split, the blood coming out of him. And Seamus Aldridge, who was walking in trim, he probably reminded him afterwards that he shouldn't have been refereeing it. He gave the free. He said Hugo Clerk had hit him, but I had the ball over the bar and left 1 point in it with 3 minutes to go. It was all Monaghan, but it was the making of the Meath team because that was the first trophy they won for years, and went on the confidence rose with that Meath team, and they were able to handle Dublin after that. We came along. We progressed from Division 3, won Division 3, lost 1 game in Division 3, Division 2. We lost 1 game in Division 2. Division 1, we lost 1 game in Division 2, Division 1. But the fact was we went on to win our only national title in 1985, following on from the 84. Because when the open draw was made, we were playing all the top teams. There was no fear then. We were anxious now to make sure we would do well. And we were climbing into Division 1. It instilled that belief that we're after competing. 2 Ulster teams, 2 Leinster teams, a Connacht team, and a Munster team, and we were able to achieve that. And then we got the National League final, it built that confidence within the team, which was magnificent.
Was there an element of a sliding doors moment that if you had to beat Meath that year, and then you added onto that you drew with Kerry in the All Ireland semi-final next year. So let's say you won the league, you did beat Armagh to win that league. You'd won Ulster. If you had also won the Centenary Cup, do you think you might have kicked on a bit more, just having a bit of extra belief?
There was the unfortunate thing. Players will be know it's different now. The one thing that I would have to say that's been brought in all sports is psychology coaches in confidence, because there are players out there that have all the potential, but they can't ignite when they get on the field. In other words, where I went on the field, I couldn't wait to start the game. When the ball was thrown in, there was only one ball. As some of your previous guests had spoken, Shane, there's 35 to 40 balls now when they go on the field. There was only one when we were there. And that one was one you had to win. And your family's life depended on that. And you made sure that no matter what was in front, you might be a bit late going in, but you made sure you came out with the ball. It gave you that life. And that's what happened. I believe we have a great team, but not all, they're all the different individuals. And some players didn't connect on the day. Not to say every day I went out to connect it, but it was never your intention. I knew I was good, if not better than most players. The thing about it was, you had that belief, and that's the confidence you have to need. You do need now in all sport. Doesn't matter what it is, but because it's GA, it's your family, it's your community, and it's the person you go out with everywhere you go. It's GA. Like, I was very fortunate. Didn't matter where you were. Nudie, oh, you have GA Monaghan, great, and the conversation takes off from there.
Well, I actually tried to look up where Nudie came from, and it seems, is that just a name that people call people who are also called Eugene? Or, sorry, Eugene. Is that where it comes from?
Yeah, it is, most of them, but when you're a family of 14, some of them struggle to pronounce the name, and I was the fifth youngest. The four below me were two sets of twins, so Mammy's last four kids were two sets of twins. And remember, she used to say the nurse was panicking, and Mammy says, "Oh, you didn't worry, I'm well used to it." And next thing, a set of twins come out, and one of them struggled to mention Eugene, and I mentioned it was Nudie, and from I was, as far as back at 4 or 5, I was always Nudie, and that was it. And like the bishop, everyone that met me, everyone was Nudie. It was never Eugene. My mother and my sister, eldest sister Margaret, have called me Eugene, Lord of Mom. But everyone else, no, most of them is all Nudie, and I would never be known. Like, if you said Eugene in a place, I wouldn't look round.
Yeah.
Nudie is what I'd be called, and that's it. So it's great. Like, it was a fantastic time, and it was at the present minute, you have Nudie crisps, you have Nudie fruit, you have Nudie jeans. You look it up, it's amazing. I never franchised the name Nudie.
You should have done. Well, who were some of the best players you played against? Because you drew with that Kerry team in '85, but you would have played the Kerry team in '79 that were at the height of their powers. In the middle of that drive for 5 push that didn't quite happen. But like even Larry Tompkins then towards the end in the '88 semi-final. Are there any players that stick out for you?
Oh, see, the great thing was mentioned previously about Monaghan, we competed well. The Dublin game, or the Kerry game in Croke Park in '85, the drama, and both games was probably the best football we played. We made a lot of mistakes. Our best football was played in Ulster. And I remember Joey Donnelly used to play against me, and he's a man marker, total man marker. And he was one of those boys that it was like the wind coming at you. He knew he was around you. It was cold. He had his hand in no matter where it was. And if you go into the toilet, he'd be standing with you. And you had to make sure that's the type of player he was. Tommy McDermott from Donegal. Tommy scored a point on me in 1980. We lost to Donegal in Ermstown, and Tommy was a great guy. But you had Charlie McGrew, Marty Carroll, Donegal, like Frank McGuigan. I was fortunate enough to play with Frank in the 1984 Centenary Railway Cup, And I was just saying, you imagine the team you lined up with in the 6 forwards to show you the era we played in was Greg Bainey, right 3/4, Eugene McKenna on the 40, Peter McGinty, left 3/4, Martin McHugh, right corner forward, Frank McGuigan, full forward, and probably the greatest of them all is Nudie, left corner. That's what I'd be stacking the boys. And it was brilliant because those were the players. Like, we played the Centenary Cup and Cardinal Fee was down. He came in and talked to us before the match, Lord Immersion, and we had a fantastic time. But those players and Jim Riley, Cavan, they were absolutely outstanding players, and it was. The crack was made, like when you talk about that 6 forwards, every one of them were way ahead of their time. And I remember saying to Martin McHugh and saying to Martin, now, Frank can only run straight out. If he gets the ball, he's going to be scoring. So I said, we'll have to do the crisscross. And Martin says, right, because Martin, I was a bit older than Martin. So Martin said, right. So Martin, I said to Martin, and don't forget now. So the ball comes in a few times. The next thing, Frank makes the run out, and Martin would run. I wouldn't run. Very good tell. Next thing, I run to the far side. Next thing, Frank lobs this ball straight out of nowhere in front. I put my hand out, and the ball landed me out. And I was running towards the goal. Frank was the other way. And Harry said, I could see the teeth marks. How do you get that ball? And put the ball over the bar. And if Harry wasn't willing to talk, and I said, that was some pass to Frank McGuigan. Harry just looked at me. The pure teeth was in his mouth. But Frank, way ahead of his time, like Greg Blaney, he hit the ball to where you should be, not to where you were. Mm-hmm. And as I turned around, he had already seen me turning, and he was still running out. 35 yards, and I put my hand out. I'll never forget it. Just looking, the ball's just landing in front of me. One touch straight over the bar. Those are the players in Ulster. They always talk about the great Kerry team, the great Dublin team. But Ulster was alive with wild talent. We just never broke the All-Ireland series until the 90s. And what a proud time we had when we went from 91, 92, 93, 94. Like, it was, for an Ulster man, that was fantastic to see that.
Was there part of the reason that you as a Monaghan man was able to drink in the success of Down, Donegal, Derry and all that because you had good kind of camaraderie from the playing with Ulster in the Railway Cup?
Well, I was socialised well. I would have been very easy to get on with, and the job I was in at that time was in the drink industry, and I would have been in the north an awful lot. But the thing was, the friends you made playing carried on right on, and I was still playing club football. And we played Donegal in the 91 Ulster final, Killybegs, and they were playing the same style as they play now. Well, we counteracted. We knew it then when we went out to stop them from building from the back line. We had a comradeship throughout. It was the fact that it was coming to Ulster, and it was coming across the border. As far as we were concerned, once they won it, even our great rivals Armagh, like we were there. Down was there for Down taken twice up to Carrickdale, John McParland. I was there twice. Enjoyed every minute of it. Derry coming down, fantastic. Ian McCollan, Lord Immersion, brilliant manager. But the boys he had with him, like Scullion, there's no question. McGilligan out in midfield. Just I'd hate to see the pair of boys. I was on tour with the pair of boys in '88. I'm not joking. Talk about a crack in the All-Star tour. They were like the Flintstones. Oh, just look at this bus. Look at the size of this bus. Everything was wild crack when you had the boys. And McGilligan was really one of those characters. And Scullion, well, sir, it's good, sir. And it was one of those times, a trip that I'd always remember. But we all united when we played with Ulster. And we united when the Ulster teams took the All-Ireland across. And Tyrone was a big nemesis in later years, in the 2000s. It was the exact same. And the fact that it was coming across us, it was coming across as we were coming back to the north, which we enjoyed.
Because when we did an interview a couple of years ago, you were talking about, I think Monaghan were due to play Tyrone in the championship, and you said it'll be a war without bullets. So that rivalry has changed in recent times.
Oh, it hasn't changed. Oh, Jesus, no, it's actually worse now because McCann brought it now, this new hairdo, rubbing his hand when you get sent off. I'm very lucky because I was skinned very early. if they were going into the tackles that we went into, we'd be locked up now. But that's how, like, Tony Scullion and McGilligan, there's times they arrived late. Well, I'm not joking. They'd probably dinged about 4 fellas on the way trying to get the ball. If them boys went for that ball now, there'd be more bodies laying on the ground than there would be in the dugout. So that was the way it is. But it's just the way the Tyrone rub up people the wrong way. Some of the spectators in particular, past players, we never had this problem before. But things like Sean Cabot incident and Conor McManus, to win matches, the result is who won. At the end of the day, you can train. If it comes down to that decision to take a man down, anyone will do it to win a match, because nice guys finish last. And we have been seeing that a few times in my playing career. And I don't think I would ever do it, but maybe if I was put into that situation, we're through to the All-Ireland final, if I stopped it, I will take it. Or a county final. The club and it become, because a lot of players now, everyone's taught out before they go out, and they're playing these role plays before they go out. And it's not something just a sport at the moment. If you're the last man, you know what you have to do to stop the goal. And the rivalry that Tyrone's built up, and we beat them down in Healy Park, and then they come back in the All-Ireland semi-final, and the Pipples again by a point. It was heart-wrenching. And that's only a couple of years ago, and it's still hard to take. But as sportsmen, when you're on the field, you can only control the game when you have the ball, and you have to punish them when you're in that scoring position. And that's your job as a player. And the thing about it is, I see a lot of people walking the ball into the shooter. How is a player ever going to learn that he's good enough if he's not able to shoot a goal? Because you spend your whole time as a juvenile growing up having shots of goals, and then all of a sudden you can't pass. No, you're not allowed to shoot in front of the goals. And I've seen the Donegal game when Michael Murphy and Paddy McBird were the only 2 players being able to shoot at goals. It's crazy. But I think the coaches, it's nearly like rugby league now. They have to, it's phases to go through rather than win the ball. So I'd like to see a wee bit of change that way there. But if we were playing Tyrone tomorrow morning, you'd have a good crowd at it.
You sure would. You definitely would. I was looking at an interview that you did in 1993, believe it or not, and you know, it was on about what you're interested in. You go, I enjoy a round of golf at weekends. I listen to classical music, especially the great composers. Are you into the classical music?
I am. Yes, I love relaxing, and it's a thing. Now at the present moment, I'd be a hip hop man if I was present present time. Now you have earphones the size of your head now, but I just like relaxing. But the one good thing about it was when I used to go for my runs, I loved going out. I was probably the first professional in Monaghan, because most times I'd be running, as I say, in the country roads, and when I was in town, 5:45 in the morning, I would be down. I didn't like running out in the open. I loved to be in the back roads with no one to see you. To hear the animals in first thing in the morning, it's unbelievable to be out running and you can hear all this around you. And you have the music on, no. In latter years when the whole thing changed and I was able to get me the iPhone or my earplugs and all in, it was great. And I love, it's just relaxing because everyone's in a race with time. Classical music just lets you flow back to the ears and you can just relax. And it's something that I enjoy and love still to the present moment. And there's so many great artists at the moment remaking all the classical music. So I'm delighted in that end of it. But I'd be a punk rocker now if you let me away with it.
Did it take you long to make peace with the fact that you weren't playing football once you retired? Because some players straight away they're fine with it, others find it difficult.
The beauty about it, Shane, is you just look at the person, and I've been very fortunate. I had a great life and a great family. Been brought up and big family. But not everything got on well when we were growing up, but when you get on in years, it's a fantastic family, and you're able to step back. And the way my mother and father brought up, it gave us and instilled a belief in us. Number one. But number two was you were your own person. You were let develop yourself. And I had never a problem. When I quit football, I said that was it. I didn't have a problem. And when I come back, the club came back and asked me in 1999. I'd retired for a few years, but I was renovating the house, and I was coaching my club team, the under-16s, and we were coaching before the seniors were playing. And Dominic Corrigan was over Castleblayney, and he tore around, and I was training with the boys, and we just finished as the seniors were training. So I would kick a few of the boys would stay for a bit of extra shooting for the forwards. So I would get the young fellas to be shooting and watch the senior players. And then the next thing, to be a game player, when that'd be finished up, the seniors would be playing a game, they'd ask me would I play, and I'd join in. And I was in pretty good shape, and I was 40. And next thing, I was picked on the Millennium Sevens team, or Ireland Sevens team. And we went on and said, would you join us for the championship? I ended up joining them for the championship, and we got beat in the quarterfinals of the sevens. And I was goalkeeper, the rush goalkeeper. But I ran into a big fella from Kerry, and then the quarterfinal, he shook the daylights at me. And I remember, are you all right? The boys, are you all right, dude? Yeah. I could see about 6 fellas running at me. He was only one fella. I could see 6 fellas running, and I walked to the lane. That was the last. That was, as you know, it was in September. And then we went on to play Lahi in 3 games, replays, and I came on in 2 of them. But I was able to walk away from those, and the same with the county. I came back 3 years later for the county when they wanted again. I was in good shape. We were winning championships, and but now I said that was it, and I never looked back. And I could adapt to it. I just said that's it. My time is done. I was lucky enough and blessed enough that I was able to play the game and have great memories. And it was never a chip. There was never a chip on my shoulder that I should have done this or should have done that. I was very lucky. I was very content within myself that yes, I'd done my best. A few days I didn't perform well, but the thing about it was when I walked away, that was it. And if people wanted to say different things, that was it. But everyone was entitled to their opinion, and I would take that on board. And I was very good in one thing. When I played bad, you didn't have to tell me. And boys would come over tipping you, and I'd be saying, wait till I start tomorrow morning. I'll make sure I'd be out training. And anyone would tell you in Castleblayney, I would be out and lock them up now. And I would be running around that team at 5:45 in the morning, making sure the next day I will not be as bad the next day or improve my game. And that's a gift that I've been on to. And I'm lucky to just play the golf at Conquerwood Golf Club now. We can't play at the present moment. That's it. That's the way life is. And you're given a gift if you play it. If you work harder to improve yourself. I wasn't the most stylish, but I think I'd be remembered for being wholehearted for the game anyhow.
As a corner forward, where would Conor McManus rank in terms of the corner forwards you've seen over the years?
Conor McManus, there's no doubt he's lit the season up for many years for Monaghan. I was just reading back on Rochmore that Conor and I would be the class, but everyone pits the 2 of us against each other, and that's the opinion. That's when you're up against players that reach a status. Your job as a player is to outmaneuver or try and be better. And Conor McManus in the present day level, yes, and in our time, yes, he would make the 85 team. He definitely would be in there. Now the game has changed, and the opportunities were twice as much. Now, if the 85 team was around now, there's no question about it. There'd only be one team. That's the 85 team. Take 1 or 2 players off this present team, because you had the likes of Davy Bourne out around midfield, and we lost in 85. And Ambrose Rogers knows, as I talk to Ambrose regular. Ambrose arrived late. He took the whole frame out of from Killarney when he ran into Davy Bourne in the semi-final in 85. And Davy was limped off, and they got the draw out of it. But had Davy stayed in the field, I think Monaghan would have been in that final. And that was the way we look at it. But McManus would definitely be gracing our team in 85. There's no doubt in that. And his talents, No one ever questions that. Like myself, he wouldn't be great at scoring goals. He's more a point scorer. I was more of a playmaker. But Conor's finishing ability is second to none. He's probably one of the greatest of all time in Monaghan as a forward, because you break it down into your individual skill level. As a footballer and as a finisher, there's different styles you have to work on. And I was very thankful that I was able to match me backs with me midfield with me forwards. And Conor, without doubt, an out-and-out striker and a top-class finish. And we would have him on the team in '85.
Very generous of you. So the current team, do you think this current team can aspire to kicking on to another level, even to an All-Ireland? It's so difficult with Kerry feeling like they're coming on strong, Dublin 5 in a row. But do you think Monaghan are far away?
No, Monaghan, there's no question about it, are entered this year, unfortunately for the COVID-19, it's been put on hold. This year you've seen a different light in Monaghan. They're playing entertaining football. There's no question on that. And we're not far. Everyone thought the team had aged and they were losing key players, Vinny, Desi, Owen Duffy, Quinton. All these players played an integral part of the team previous to this. And when Seamus McGinney came back in, everyone thought, oh, we're going to go back straight back down. They've been doing very well. He's energised them. There's one thing that Banty does give the team. He gives them motivation at the highest calibre. And I think the team has performed very well. Letting a 12-point slip against Dublin, I think was wrong. They should never have done that. We could have probably come back against Mayo. We have matches now to delve in, but it's a great time for Monaghan football, because I go to the matches now and you see the buzz with this Monaghan team, and it instills that belief in them. Now, I think they're short in a right few key areas, and there's no point in hiding that. But they make up for it in the pure enthusiasm, the physicality to match all other teams. The one thing that we probably do struggle against would be Cork, because always seem to have that thing. Done it in '85, we had the same problem, but a decision went against us that day that turned the table on us. But I think this present team now, hopefully you'll see the boys have got a year old, the under 21s come through, and the minors. I think McCarthy is starting to release. Conor's getting more cuter now. He's using his head more now, because age is creeping up and everything. You can't hold back that. And I think this team now have a chance of matching what was forward. But are we good enough to win in Northern Ireland? I don't think so. You don't have the strength and depth yet. And I would love to think it. But the one good thing about it, on any given day Monaghan goes up to Croke Park, you will never see them coming back saying, I should have done more there. They give it all. And if it didn't work out, that's the situation. But they're still in the top 6 in the country, and you can be guaranteed in the championship they will give everything they have for that championship.
And then just a final question before I let you go. How are you passing the days at the moment? They can be long days.
Yes, long days, but thankfully I go for my walk in the morning time. I have a few distractions that I have to be in certain places, but in general, keeping well, enjoying life, slowing down, have plenty of time to be classical music, and in general, it brings reality back to people to show how important life is and the time we have. And make no mistake about it, when the football starts back, it'll be hell for leather, and there'll be more games without balls played because it'll be a lot more physical. Everyone will be so anxious to get back. A lot of them will bypass the ball, but it's not easy at times. But thankfully, I'm able to occupy my time peacefully and relaxing.
Well, look, I appreciate your time, Nudie. You've been great to chat. Very much enjoyed that. And best of luck with everything, and hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Please God, Shane. Thank you very much.